Okay, wait, this is wild. Every time you go to the grocery store and notice eggs or milk cost more than they used to, you probably think something is broken. But it's not. The government actually wants your money to lose value every single year. It is a deliberate, engineered feature of the economy. And if they didn't do it, the entire financial system would collapse.
We call this inflation. It's the gradual decline in what a single dollar can buy. You felt it hard in June 2022 when pandemic supply chain shocks and massive fiscal stimulus pushed U.S. inflation to a 4-decade high of 9.1%. Now, by early 2026, aggressive interest rate hikes have cooled it down to 2.4%. But notice that number isn't zero. Prices aren't going back down. They are just climbing slightly slower.
And how does the government even know it hit 2.4%? The Fed uses something called the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, or PCE. They specifically look at core PCE, which strips out food and energy costs. Critics hate this because groceries and gas are non-negotiable daily expenses. But the Fed does it because food and oil prices swing wildly, and they need to see the underlying trend of the whole economy. Their official public policy is to target exactly 2% annual inflation. They actively tweak interest rates to make sure your dollar buys 2% less this year than it did last year. Why would Fed Chair Jerome Powell and his team intentionally erode your purchasing power?
Because the alternative is terrifying. The opposite of inflation is deflation, a general drop in prices. Sounds great, right? Cheaper gas, cheaper cars, cheaper rent. But imagine you want to buy a new laptop. If you know it will be 20% cheaper next month, you wait. Everyone waits.
When everyone delays their spending, consumer demand falls off a cliff. Businesses suddenly have no revenue. To survive, they slash production. Then they cut wages. Then they lay off workers. That triggers a massive recessionary spiral. People lose their jobs because prices went down. That 2% inflation target acts as a structural buffer against that exact nightmare. It also gives employers a hidden superpower. During an economic downturn, companies can freeze your salary. Because of inflation, they just gave you a 2% pay cut in real purchasing power, without the messy optics of actually shrinking your paycheck.
But the Fed has to walk a tightrope. Let inflation run too hot, and you get the chaos of the late 1970s and 80s, when inflation peaked near 15%. They had to aggressively hike interest rates to crush it. That's why they obsess over keeping it at that magical 2% mark.
But here is the real twist. The modern fiat monetary system never stops expanding. It is intentionally designed to punish you for holding on to cash. If you stuff money under a mattress, it slowly evaporates in value. The system forces you to act.
This changes everything about how you manage your money. If you are a retiree living on fixed cash savings, inflation is a silent tax eating your survival fund. But if you have a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, you win. You get to pay back your massive bank loan using future dollars that are worth less than the ones you borrowed.
So the next time you look at a price tag and sigh, remember, it's not a glitch. Your dollar buys less every year because that's exactly what it was designed to do.